is your experience? And I'm allowing you to go into the past with this question. What is your experience with the me?
There is a lot of, well, when I showed up to satsang, it was out of like desperation. I woke up, well, whatever, I'll just talk and like the story, whatever. I woke up like maybe a year and a half ago feeling like an intense anxiety for the first time in my life. I'm 27 now. So this is when I was 25 and a half or something. And I'd never recognized that feeling before. I was like, something is like really weird and wrong. And like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I don't know how to make this work anymore. Like, why am I doing what I'm doing? And I had like a passive interest in spirituality, but all of the stuff that I was used to, like meditation and, you know, whatever spiritual stuff I was into, reading about stuff with like passive interests, just appreciating like the creativity of spirituality mostly. All of that seemed like really empty. And I was like, there's got to be something else going on. Like there's got to be a meaning or a purpose to all of this being here, suffering in a body. And like, if I'm just supposed to get a job and like have fun until I die, like that seems pretty dumb. Like this has to be, people talk about it like it's so much more alive and simple. And so I started looking around, and I mean, this like non-duality thing was the only thing that struck a chord that was like, well, whatever the experience is that you're having that's horrible and shit is like not real, so to speak. You know, like it's relatively happening, but there's this something else that you are that is peaceful. And that was really attractive to me. I was like, all right, well, if all these things I'm worried about are being pointed to as like misidentification of what I am, then there's got to be a way to recognize that what I am. And so I started, you know, I got Tony Parsons, started reading him, and that was like brutal. And then like so brutal.
he and Jim, they take no hostages, man.
No, man. It was really rough. Like I was in
no hostages. Yeah, I've heard them both speak. Yeah. And what happens here for me is yes. But yeah. I don't know if that's what I would have experienced whilst I was still running around believing I was a me. I don't think I would have experienced yes when I couldn't heard Tony or Jim. It's like, what the fuck? Where do you go? They leave you nowhere to stand, which is beautiful. It's okay. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I love those two guys.
Yeah, I couldn't put it down. Like I hated reading it because it was like invalidating a lot of what I was thought was real and thought was me and what was happening. And he's just like, nope, sorry, nope. And I was like, fuck, what do I do now? So I guess after a while, it just started to kind of sink in. Like moments would happen where I would see thoughts, or I'd hear like the sound of a river, and I was just like experimenting. Like, what if I heard this river without judging it? For like, I remember one thing. I was like, this river is really peaceful, and I should be feeling peaceful because that's like my concept of it, is that it should be relaxing to listen to, and it wasn't. And I was getting really frustrated. Like I am broken because relaxing things are not relaxing to me. Like,
but see, you weren't listening to the river. What you were listening to was what you thought about the river.
Yeah. So
and
it just took like 1 second of just, well, there's the thought about it, and here's the sound of it, and that kind of snapped me out of it for maybe a minute or a second, I don't know, but I just heard it for like the first time without any other noise going on. And I was like, well, that's something. And then all the story came back, and, you know, I lost that pathway to like hear it again until like, you know, and then it was like, that was like 6 months ago. And then just after our last satsang, I woke up the next morning, just like seeing thoughts and concepts is like, well, that's what the mind is doing. What's actually happening though is like there's nothing I could say, really. But now I'm saying other things about like there's this fear component and there's this intense feeling.
That's okay. Yep.
It's not like bad anymore. It's just there. And I'm just wondering like, well, what's
I'll tell you why that's there.
next? You know?
Because you're still running on the belief that David is going to be able to discover your true nature. And in that happening, suffering is going to disappear. There's going to be this great relief, and you're just going to be in love and experiencing love, and everything's just going to be fucking hunky dory. Right? But the mistake that's being made there isn't so much, your expectation of what it's going to be like. The mistake is David trying to find your true nature. Look, this is so obvious. I hope this lands, okay? If you're in search of your true nature, what does it say about current nature that's in search of true nature? What does it say, David?
Nature, in search of true nature.
I'll say it again, yeah? If David is in search of your true nature, your true self, yeah? If David is in search of that, what does it say about current nature, current David?
That's not it.
Hello? And I'm trying to get you to, hold on, and I'm trying to get you to see that. This that you're taking yourself to be is not who you are. So we strip that back. Look at that. Look at the mechanics of that. I mean, it doesn't get any more simple than what's just been demonstrated. If you're in search of true self, current self, therefore, cannot be true. So what would be the point of current self that's not true? Go looking for true self. What would be the point of that? Don't you think it would be the more obvious route to take would be to go, okay, well, if current self isn't true, I need to investigate that and see if that is true or not, whether current self is true or not, even though the evidence is there because I'm seeking true self. So what we look, David, this is the most, there's nothing more radical than what's being presented here. There's nothing more radical. Yeah. All teachers or anybody that has awoken to their true nature, everybody will testify. Every one of them will testify what was discovered was shit. Actually, there was never a me here. This me that I was taking to be me was not me. This me that I was taking to have free will was not true. So that in hand, that information in hand, and if there's something in that information that resonates with you or for you, okay, that information in hand, then what we've got to do is stop looking for true nature. Stop looking for that. How about we unravel false nature? This that we're taking ourselves to be, which all the teachers, everyone that's woken up, has said is imaginary. It's a dreamed character. It's not real. All of them say that. The interest should be there, don't you think? What the hell is this me? Instead of assuming there's a me here, and one day we're just going to stumble upon true self? What are you going to do with current self when you stumble upon true self? Think about that for a second. False self finally finds true self. Oh, finally I found, one of us has got to go.
Yeah.
You think this guy's going to surrender? You think he's going to disappear? This is the one that's full of fear. This is the one that will not let go. It believes in death. It believes in birth. It believes in time. It believes in free will. This one is the dualistic character. You're me. You think your me is going to be able to find true self? Even if that was possible, what the hell do you think is going to happen when this finally finds true self? What do you think is going to happen? Ponder it. Can that way work?
Right. Right.
It can't work. It can't work. So we do the opposite. And you hear teachers say this also. That you're looking for is already here. Was never lost. You've heard that, David.
Yeah.
Right? So what we do is we take the position that I'm looking for is here, even though it kind of, doesn't feel like what these teachers are talking about. Okay? Still kind of feels like a bit, I don't know, constricted and contracted and a bit fearful and blah, 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 right? Even though it might feel that way, you take the position of that you're looking for. You already are. Now, from there, let's go looking for what you're not. That's it. That's the path. Now, if you take the position, so what you're doing is you're actually taking the position of true self, unbeknownst to false self. False self doesn't know what true self is. So you take the position of true self, even though it doesn't feel like it is, take the position of it. And from there, instead of spending all your time trying to work out and find and discover what true self is, we use all your time to discover what false self is. In the process of doing that, false self gets seen more and 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 more, till eventually the absurdity of false self, how absurd it is, it just goes up in a puff of smoke. Then what are you left with? True self, without false self being there anymore. Whereas the other way around, the dilemma is there's going to be two of you. It can't work that way. Yeah.
So I guess that's where I feel like I'm kind of hung up. I mean, because I feel like what's been happening is like the recognizing of thoughts as just thoughts. And then like the last one that I'm coming to is like, what's recognizing the thoughts as thoughts? And is that my sense? Is that like some sense of me, or is that just happening, And
So
it feels silly because like I know, oh yeah, go ahead.
Turn that to your advantage. Who's recognizing it?
Yeah, that's what I don't know. Because I'm like, I don't know if that's, I feel like I could call it a me, but then I feel like that's like, well, what's calling it me?
Come back to, okay, David, get out of your head a little bit if you can. I understand it's still a process. I shouldn't say get out of your head, but what I should have said then was the answer's not in there. Right. Come back to your direct experience right here, right now. Always, because this is where you are, unbeknownst to you at the moment. You're taking yourself to be a me, where in actual fact what you are is this here now. You're this.
Yeah.
Okay. But this here now has been interpreted your whole life to be the me. And we've never investigated to find out whether this here now is the me or not. We just assume it is and have never looked. Never questioned it. Yeah. So mind is saying this that's here now is the one that's kind of observing, and I'm observing thoughts, and and at times it kind of gets a little bit shaky, and I'm not quite sure what's. The me is deaf, dumb, and blind. Literally. The me can't see, hear, taste, touch, smell, or think. And the me can't experience anything. Zero. Can't experience anything. So the me can't understand, it can't experience something objective. Why? Because it can't experience anything. Why? What's a me? Thought patterns. Tell me one thought that can see, hear, taste, touch, smell. Tell me one thought that can experience consciousness. Experience it. Tell me one thought that can literally experience seeing. Can you find a thought that can do that? Any of that?
Yeah.
No. Yet we believe it's me, which is a thought, seeing. We believe that. And no wonder, that's what's been happening our whole life. And then to stumble into here, this is extremely radical compared to the way we have been living and the belief system with which we've been living with. This is radical as shit.
So much, Terry, seems to be based on judging and comparing. I notice my mind wants to always compare, judge. Compared to what?
See, and that's the nature of the mind. Duality only exists in mind. Outside of mind, there's no such thing as duality. Thoughts create the illusion of duality, or mind creates the illusion of duality. And it would only be in a dualistic state that judging could happen. So it's only mind that's ever judging or being critical. Duality. Look across the room and find anything you like, I don't care what it is, but something, this is to everybody, something that's over there. Has everyone found something that's over there? Come on, I'm not being tricky here. There's a lamp over there, there's a door over there. Just find something that's over there. Has everyone found something? Good. Yeah. Now, leave the now and go over there.
I took the now with me.
Which means there is no over there. Did you grab the significance of that, David? If you take the now with you, how can there possibly be an over there? When is over there real? A place, a thing. From your direct experience. Leave the now and walk over there. Go over there. Leave this nowness. Leave this here-ness. Leave this pure presence. Leave here and go over there. That's dualistic. Over there is dualistic. There is no over there. It's a complete belief system, a dualistic belief system that's been created here. And without it, there'd be no me's or you's or here's or there's or ups or downs or loves or hates, or none of that would happen.
But that's theory. That's what we were talking about last time with language. We created a world that.
Yeah, that's the mechanics, Coco. Yes, yes, and that's why we can only remember back so far. We hadn't learnt language yet. Yeah, without the learning of language, a me can't get created. Yeah,
nothing would be divided.
Yeah, yeah. So sitting in your car there, David, you could look out the window, I'm sure, and you would be convinced that there's a tree over there. Go to the over there. Can you go to over there?
That's just another thought.
Yeah, but your experience is no. You don't go over there, and you can't experience over there. Even if you put it to the test and decide, well, I'm going to walk over there, you'd be doing that in the now. It'll always be now whilst you. Yeah. But we're convinced there's an over there. We believe that there's an actual over there. And that's just another demonstration of mind, the duality of mind, and how it creates a seeming reality that we're all believing. We're all believing it. Yeah. So all we do in here is just challenge the beliefs, challenge it, challenge the me. Yeah. We're not looking for your true nature. We're not looking for that. That's not the goal. It's not the goal. I'll tell you now, your true self or your true nature doesn't need finding. That just the me character thinks it does. It needs finding. Why? Because the me character can't experience the here now. It can't experience consciousness, awareness, aliveness, this brightness. The me character can't experience that. It can never experience it, ever. That's what we want to experience, and I'm a good little spiritualist, and I'm dedicated, and I'm gonna discover that one day. No, sorry, that's not the route. Yeah, it's not the route.